Oh my god, guys, I actually lost the longest nail, which is on my pointy finger, and I know it features a lot in most of my tutorial videos, so I just felt the need to point that out before I start this tutorial. Okay, so moving on to today's tutorial, we're going to be working on a baby bonnet, and I'll be doubling my strands in the absence of having a bulky yarn. And to begin, we'll be making a magic ring by turning our yarn twice round our first two fingers and then putting a hook through to make a loop, just like I'm doing. Yeah, just like that. So you go ahead and ensure you hold on firmly to the magic ring and the loose strand. Then you go ahead and make a chain 2, 1 and 2. And for this part of this project, this chain 2 counts as a double crochet. And then we go ahead and make 9 more double crochets into the same magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I went ahead to put a total of 9 double crochet into the magic ring rather, and then I'll go ahead and close up the ring by pulling that loose strand gently but firmly enough till I close up that ring completely. You'd ensure that there's no space left at all in the magic ring. You close it up totally. When you're sure that you've done that, you go ahead and finish up your row 1 by making a slip stitch in the top of the chain 2. You put a slip stitch at the top of the chain 2. Make sure you don't put it into the wrong stitch, so you check for the chain 2 very well and ensure you're putting it at the top of it. Yeah, that was hard to find, but I eventually did. So this brings us to the end of row 1. Moving on to row 2, we're starting by chaining 2, 1 and 2, and remember this chain 2 counts as a double crochet for us. And then I'll be using my hair pin this time around to mark the top of my chain 2, so I'll be using that as a stitch marker. So you go ahead and make another double crochet into that same chain 2 stitch. You work a double crochet into that same chain 2 stitch, and then into the next 9 stitches we'll be working 2 double crochets each. So into the next stitch I'll be working 2 double crochets, 1, and into that same stitch I'll work another 2. So you go ahead and work 2 double crochets each into the rest of the stitches. Okay, so I've gone all the way around with 2 double crochets each into the stitches, and I'm working my very last stitch now by putting 2 double crochet just like I've been doing. 1, and into that same last stitch I'll work another. So at the end of this row you should have a total of 20 stitches, so you can go ahead and confirm. So you close up this by putting a slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. That's how to close up the row. So you finish it up like that, and then we go ahead to row 3. We'll start by chaining 2 just like we've been doing, 1 and 2, and into that same chain 2 stitch you'd work another double crochet. Okay, so for me I'm going to be marking the top of my chain 2 for easy location when I'm about to close up my row. So go ahead and work 1 double crochet into that same chain 2 stitch, and then into the next stitch you'll be working 1 double crochet only. 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then into the next stitch you'll be working 2 double crochets. That's my first double crochet into that next stitch, and into the same stitch I'll work another double crochet, making a total of 2 double crochets into that stitch. So you go ahead and work on a repeat of this sequence by putting 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So you're working 2 double crochets into a stitch. Into the next one you work just 1, into the next you work 2, into the next you work 1. So you do this all the way round till you get to the end of the row. So I've gone all the way around, and I'll be closing up my row 3 by doing a slip stitch at the top of that chain 2 that I marked with my hairpin. So it was very easy for me to identify the top of my chain 2 with the help of that stitch marker. So I'm working my slip stitch to finish up the row. So we're moving on to row 4, and to start row 4 you'll be chaining 2 like we've been doing, 1 and 2. I'll go ahead and mark the top of my chain 2 with my stitch marker for easy identification, and into that same space you work the same double crochet, 1 double crochet. Into that same chain 2 space you work 1 double crochet, and then into the next 2 stitches we'll be working 1 double crochet each. So into my next stitch I'm going to work 1 double crochet now, then I'll move on to my next stitch and work just 1 double crochet as well. Now into the next stitch I'll be working 2 double crochets this time around. 1, and then into that same stitch I'll work another one, 2. So we'll go ahead and repeat that sequence all the way around this row. We'll be putting 1 1 2 1 1 2. So that's going to be the repeat pattern all through the row 4. So I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of my row with a total of 40 stitches, and I'll be finishing up just like we've been doing by working a slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. Now this should bring us to the end of the top of our hat, measuring 3.5 inches, but because I'll be making a slightly bigger baby bonnet, I'll be adding 1 more row to the top of my baby bonnet. So I'll go ahead and add a row 5 to my project. So I'll start just like I've been doing by chaining 2, 1 and 2, and then into that same chain 2 stitch I'll work another double crochet, and then my repeat pattern for row 5 is going to be 1 1 1 2. So I'll work 1 double crochet there. Into the next I'll work another 1 double crochet. Into the next I'll work another 1 double crochet, and into the next I'll work 2 double crochets. So the repeat pattern for this row is going to be 1 1 1 2 all the way around till you get to the end. Now I've gotten to the end, and I have it measures 4.5 inches, and I'll be finishing up my row 5 by doing a slip stitch just like we've been doing at the top of the chain 2, just like that. So now that we are done with the top of our hat, we'll be moving on to the bonnet and the ruffled edging parts. And to start the bonnet part of the project, we'll be chaining 2. And for this part of the project, the chain 2 does not count as a double crochet. It's simply just a turning chain. And then you go ahead and work 1 double crochet into the same stitch just like we've been doing. Into that same chain 2 stitch you work 1 double crochet. Remember that chain 2 does not even count as a double crochet in this part of the project. It's just a turning chain for us, or turning chains. And then into the next stitch, or into the next 37 stitches, if you did row 5 just like me, you work 1 double crochet each. So if you didn't do row 5, just work 1 double crochet each into those stitches till you have 3 stitches left. And now moving on to row 2, you chain 2, and then you turn your work. Remember, we are not working around again, but we are working back and forth. Then you put 1 double crochet into all of those stitches you just worked, and you'll be repeating this sequence till you have a total of 8 rows. So from row 2 to row 8, you're putting 1 double crochet into each stitch. Remember, you're working back and forth here. So I've completed my row 8, and this is what my baby bonnet is looking like, measuring 6 inches. And now we're going to be working on the ruffled edging. To do that, I'll be chaining 3 this time around instead of the 2 that we've been chaining. You chain 3, and then you turn your work, and into that same stitch I'll be working a treble crochet into that same chain 3 stitch. Now this is how to work a treble crochet. You yarn over your hook twice, 1 and 2, and then you put your hook through the stitch, yarn over and pull through. Now you have 4 loops on your hook, 1 2 3 4, and then you go ahead and yarn over, pull through just 2 loops, yarn over, pull through just 2 loops, then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. So that is how to work a treble crochet. Now we'll go ahead and work 3 treble crochets into the next stitch. 3 treble crochets into the next stitch. That's my first treble crochet into that stitch. I'll go ahead and work the second one into the same stitch. Two treble crochets, and then the third into that same stitch. So you'll be repeating this pattern of putting 3 treble crochets into each stitch all the way around till you have just 1 stitch left at the end. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, and this is my very last stitch, and into this stitch I'll be working just 2 treble crochets. So instead of working 3, I'll be working just 2 into that very last stitch. And with that, we come to the end of our ruffled edging of the baby bonnet. So you can go ahead and fasten off with a chain 1, cut off your yarn with a pair of scissors, and then you weave in your end. I hope you've been following through easily so far. We are almost coming to the end of our baby bonnet. So the next thing we'll be working on is the tie and also the neck opening of the baby bonnet. So your baby bonnet should be looking like this so far. Now place your baby bonnets like this, and then we'll be reattaching our yarn just at the base of the row we just completed. So you go ahead and reattach your yarn at the end of the last row with a slip stitch. So you have your hook around your yarn, put your hook through that stitch, and then you work a slip stitch by yarning over and pulling through, and then pulling through that loop just like that. Yes, so we've reattached our yarn. Then you go ahead and chain 42, work 42 chains. So I have my 42 chains. Now you count 2 chains away from your hook, 1 and 2, and into that chain you work a slip stitch by putting your hook through the chain, pull through, and then pull through. So you go ahead and work a slip stitch into each and every one of the 42 chains till you get to the end of the chain. So I've gotten to the end of my chain, and I'm working my last single crochet into that chain, slip stitch rather, and then to finish up I'll be working 1 single crochet into that stitch where we reattached our yarn. So 1 double crochet into that stitch just like that, and then we'll be working all the way around our neck opening. And what we'll be doing is to work we're working a single crochet actually evenly all the way around. So for me to do that, I'll be putting about two single crochets, into the end of my double crochets. Into the end of that double crochet row, I'll be working about two single crochets each. So just place your single crochet evenly all the way around. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, whatever works for you. But for me, I put 2 single crochets. Now I've worked all the way around and I've gotten to the other side. And now I'll be chaining 42, just like we did at the other side. That's for the tie. You chain 42, and then you work your slip stitch from the second chain from the hook all the way down to the 42 chains. So I've worked my slip stitch all the way down, and I'm putting in my last slip stitch into that chain. And then to finish off, I'll be doing a slip stitch into that stitch where we ended previously. I'll work a slip stitch in like that, and that brings us to the end of this cute baby bonnet. To finish up, I did a chain 1 and then cut off my yarn and weave in my loose end. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you found it easy to follow through the video, and I would really love to see what you made. You can go ahead and tag HZG_collections. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you soon in my next tutorial. Bye for now.